Hi and welcome to morning stretching. In between the exercises I'm going to read something about pulmonary embolism and try to learn it. And participating in the exercises is that you're on risk, and pulmonary embolism is a severe disease and it's about the blood system. I'm going to talk the whole time about symptoms of a severe disease and the blood system. Let's start with the first exercise. Maybe we're extending wide apart. We're breathing in and out. And again in and out. And breathe in, out, again in, out, and again in, out, in, and out. And now for the last time, breathe in, out, in, out, and now close the legs. And we've done the opening exercise. So we always breathe in through the nose, deep into the chest and out through the mouth. So breathe always in through the nose, into the chest and out through the mouth. Now to pulmonary embolism. Pulmonary embolism is a problem in the lungs. So the pulmonary embolism affects the lungs. It's a problem in the lungs. By pulmonary embolism, a blood vessel is blocked. So blood vessels are things through which blood flows. And by pulmonary embolism, a blood vessel, one of these blood vessels is blocked, and pulmonary embolism is in the lungs. The lungs are here. And a blood vessel of the type artery is blocked. So by pulmonary embolism, an artery in the lungs is blocked by something, and the blood flow is not working properly. So a blood vessel, like something like this, but in the lungs, is blocked through something in it, and it's an artery in the lungs, and then the blood can't flow through it anymore. So by pulmonary embolism, an artery, which is a type of blood vessel, is blocked. The pulmonary embolism, an artery in the lungs is blocked, and blood can't flow through it anymore. To the next exercise. Now we're having the legs standing a bit more and shoulder width wide apart standing, and we're breathing in and bring our arms up, and out, and we're going to the side. And breathe in and out the rib cage. So breathe in and out. And again in and out, back into the middle. And breathe in and out now to the other side. And breathe in and out the rib cage. So breathe in and out. And again in and out, back into the middle. Pulmonary embolism is a blocked artery in the lungs. Something called a blood clot can be in a blood vessel in the legs. So in the legs, for example, can be something in the blood vessels which is called blood clot. So normally there is just blood in flowing. But there can be a blood clot in it, which shouldn't be there. The blood clot can be in a blood vessel, for example, in the legs. By pulmonary embolism, such a blood clot travels through the blood vessels and gets stuck in an artery in the lungs, blocking the blood flow. So normally there's just blood in the blood vessels of the leg, but there can be a blood clot, something which shouldn't be there. And this blood clot can travel through the whole blood vessels and get stuck in the lungs. So it's in the legs, and when it rips off and it travels through the blood vessels, it gets stuck in an artery in the lungs, and when the blood flow in the lungs is blocked. Next exercise again. Having the legs standing a bit over the shoulder wide apart, breathing in and out, and one hand slides down the leg and the other shoulder stays down. And breathe in and out, and we're taking the arm over. And breathe again in and out the rib cage. And out. And again in. And out, back into the middle. And breathe in. And out, and now we're going to the other side, and the shoulder stays down. And breathe in. And out, we're taking the arm over. and breathe in from the rib cage. And breathe again out. And again in. And out. Again to the middle. So, in the legs there can be a blood clot in the blood vessels. That blood clot can rip off. It can travel through the blood vessels, and then it can get stuck in an artery in the lungs and causes a pulmonary embolism. Pulmonary embolism is if an artery in the lungs is blocked through a blood clot, which could have come from the legs, where it had been in a blood vessel ripped off and traveled to the lungs and got stuck in the blood vessels, in an artery, in a blood vessel, in an artery in the lungs. The symptoms are shortness of breath, chest pain, upcoughing of blood, and low blood oxygen levels, rapid breathing and rapid heart rate. So the symptoms are shortness of breath, then chest pain and upcoughing of blood, low blood oxygen levels, they have to be measured, rapid breathing and rapid heart rate. So shortness of breath, rapid breathing, rapid heart rate, chest pain, low blood oxygen level, maybe it's visible, I don't know, and upcoughing of blood. Many other symptoms. The next exercise, now we're having the feet standing together. We are breathing in, lifting our arms up, and out, and one hand comes down. And we're breathing in and reaching to both ends, so breathe in and reach. And out. And again in. And out. And breathe in and reach. And out. And again in. And out. And again in and reach. And out. And again in. And out. And in and reach. And out. So, even though I don't know how it actually looks like, shortness of breath, rapid heart rate, rapid breathing, low blood oxygen levels, chest pain, and upcoughing of blood are symptoms of pulmonary embolism, where a blood clot, for example from the legs, had ripped off, traveled through blood vessels and had got stuck in an artery in the lungs. The risk to get a blood clot is increased by aging, cancer, prolonged bed rest, smoking, brain attack, long travels, some medications, pregnancy, obesity, physical trauma, bone fracture, and after some surgeries. The next exercise, we're having the legs standing wide apart. We are breathing in and out, and we're going down. And we're just hanging here and helping only to go deeper down by breathing deep in through the nose into the chest. And by breathing out through the mouth. And by repeating the cycle. So breathe in through the nose into the chest. And out through the mouth. And again in. And out. And again in. And out, we're changing to one leg. And breathe in. And out. And again in. And out, we're changing to the other leg. And breathe again in. And out. And again in. And out back into the middle. And breathe again in. And out, we're coming slowly up a round back and making at the top a backwards shoulder roll. Efforts to prevent the blood clot occurring in the blood vessels of the legs are beginning of moving after surgeries, lower leg exercises after long sitting, and usage of blood thinners. Pulmonary embolism causes around 10,000 deaths in the United States per year. The next exercise, we're having the feet standing together, we are breathing in and out, and we're hanging again down. And breathe again deep in. And out. And again in. And out. And again in. And out. And breathe again in. And out, we're coming slowly up around back and making it at the top. And backwards, shoulder up. Exercise. The toes are pointing to the outside. We're having an underlimb space between our heels. We're breathing in and lifting the arms up. And we're breathing out, and we're going down and placing the elbows against the inside of the knees. And now we're breathing in and trying to come tall up with the back. So breathe in, straighten up the back. And out, and we're going with the back up. And breathe again in. And out, back into the garden pose. And breathe in and straighten the back. And out, going again. And breathe in. And out, back into the garden pose. And breathe in. And out, and we're coming slowly in one straight line upwards. And now to the last exercise. Having a standing leg and replacing the heel of the mobile leg above a standing leg. Do this only if you can do it without injuring your knee. We're breathing in and out, and we're going down. So pulmonary embolism is a blood clot, which is, for example, in the legs, which had ripped off and traveled through blood vessels and got stuck in an artery in the lungs. And that is when pulmonary embolism. And that can cause shortness of breath, rapid heart breathing, rapid breathing, low blood oxygen levels, chest pain. And the risk to have it is increased through aging, cancer, prolonged bed, necessarily prolonged rest. What is it called? Prolonged bed rest. Now with the other leg, the heel of the knee, and we're breathing in and going down. Prolonged bed rest, long travels after some surgeries and some medications, pregnancy, obesity, smoking, and brain stroke. And it causes around 10,000 deaths per year in the United States of America. And we're coming up again. Yes. Tries to prevent it from happening, movement as soon as possible after surgeries, some blood thinners, and leg exercises. After long sitting. Leg exercises after long sitting. Again, the opening exercise is the closing exercise. We're breathing in and out. And again in. And out. And again in. Out. In. And out. And now we're closing the legs. And we're done. Morning stretching. So pulmonary embolism is a blood clot which could have been in the legs, for example, which had ripped or traveled through blood vessels and got stuck in an artery in the lungs. That is pulmonary embolism. The symptoms are shortness of breath, rapid breathing, rapid heart rate, low blood oxygen levels, chest pain, and hemoptysis, upcoughing of blood. And trying to prevent the blood clot from happening, movement after exercise, movement after surgeries, leg exercises after long sitting, and blood thinners. And it is increased through aging, cancer, brain stroke, obesity, smoking, long travels, long bed rest, and it causes 10,000 deaths in the United States per year. Pregnancy, physical trauma, and bone fracture. Had we also. These were some info snippets to pulmonary embolism, which is a blood clot which was, for example, in the legs and which had traveled and got stuck in an artery in the lungs. I thank you very much, and until next time.